Hey, what's happening? This is Tom, NerdRemix.com. Jad Pictures with the Collective series. If you're not familiar with this, they take 10 independent filmmakers, give them 10 minutes, and they each make a short based on the same premise. Collective, Volume 1, lots of quality stuff, really good filmmakers. There's a lot of things that actually broke out and won a lot of awards for different filmmakers, separate of the Collective, and the Collective as a whole worked really well. Collective Volume 2. Few different filmmakers, different synopsis, and some very cool examples of independent cinema. There's some very visceral films in there, and some very things that make quite an impact in 10 minutes or that ballpark. The Collective Volume 3, which I am reviewing, 10 Minutes to Live. Different slant on the usual Collective thing. They gave everybody the 10 Minutes to Live synopsis. It's all female filmmakers. All the films I thought were directed by females. Turns out some of them were written or directed by females. And kind of a different slant on things. Does it succeed? Yes, it does in certain points, and it fails in certain other points. Now, the first two volumes of the Collectives had a nice balance of an arty film and something that's pure entertainment, something that's for the fans and not for, art's sake so much, if you can wrap your mind around that. Not so much heady, cerebral stuff. There was stuff like that, but it was intermixed and it had a nice balance with the dumbed down stuff. The meathead stuff. And the women went more for the artsy things. And it kind of slows the pace of the film. I'm not going to say it takes away from the enjoyment. In certain spots it does, but there are definitely some shining moments in this version or this volume of the Collective. One that stood out for me was the one right out of the gate from Mysterious Mansion Productions. But it's called Conclusion, and it was directed by Vanessa Romanelli and written by Cameron Scott, Vanessa Romanelli, and Erica Frost. Kind of a take on assisted suicide, and I really enjoyed it. It had kind of a J-horror kind of influence to it, and it was very... it was artsy without being too pretentious. And I think that's where, once you get into the meat of this volume of the Collective, that some of it kind of gets off track. Is sometimes it just seems like it's art for the sake of art. And for me personally, and I think for your average horror convention goer, that's not what they're looking for when they buy something like this. Which isn't to say that there isn't some shining moments in this. The entry from Toe Tag Pictures, Stay, was really good. Kind of a spousal abuse revenge story that really worked. And another one I really liked was The Key. It had Mark Blauvelt, who's shows even more acting skill every time I see him, and Paul Barbosa from Muscle Wolf Productions. Those two guys are in this. It was directed by Christy DeBruler. It seems like I wanted to see more, but what I saw really worked. And The Silence in the Dead of Night, or Dead of Light, their entry into this Jog, which was kind of arty, but I really think it showed some potential, and I would really like to see more from the director. She actually was the lead in Cameron Scott's short for the Collective Volume 1, Graveyard Blues, and I know I'm going to fuck your name up, and I apologize in advance for it. Trust me, with my last name, I've dealt with it all my life. But Athena Prachotko, I'm going to say. I probably should have called Cam and asked him how to pronounce that. But anyway, very cool. And there's, He Who Watches kind of hooked me a little bit. And Jad Pictures' entry, Packed, with directed by Amy Carmichael, really worked for me on certain levels, and there's a lot that works here and there's a lot that isn't. I think the main thing is to use a music analogy. Sometimes you want King Crimson, but you want King Crimson mixed with some Tool, and this is almost all King Crimson and just a little bit of Tool, if you can wrap your mind around that. But I definitely think the Collective series is progressing nicely. It gets better every time. This one, for some people, isn't going to be as entertaining as Volumes 1 and 3, just because a lot of the work is more cerebral and it's more arty And like I said, I think there was a couple entries. I'm not going to point fingers, but I think were art for the sake of art. And for me, that's just cinematic masturbation. But anyway, the Collective Volume 3 as a whole, there's some very good entries, and there's some very promising filmmakers in this, and some chilling moments. And like I said, moody drama, no matter how artsy it is, doesn't always equal scary. And I think that's the problem with a few entries in this. So while flawed, I'm going to give the Collective Volume 3, the all-female edition, 10 Minutes to Live, a very solid 7.5 out of 10. And definitely check it out. I'm sure you can pick it up at conventions coming up. I'm sure you can pick it up at jappictures.com soon, if not now. And I'm sure that these individual filmmakers, especially some of them that I called out individually, will have these short films available for purchase at a convention near you, or maybe a website, who knows. But definitely check Facebook and all the other social media, and I'm sure Jab Pictures will have some announcements. But anyway, the Collective Volume 3, 10 Minutes to Live, I give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. I'm Tom, NerdRemix.com. Support independent cinema. Thanks.